The story begins with a quiet and lonely boy named Helen. Ever since his mother passed away, he had changed. He became distant, silent, and full of sadness. His father, Julius, tried to rebuild their broken family by marrying a woman named Verity. But Helen could not accept this new reality. To him, Verity was a stranger trying to replace his mother. Helen avoided spending time at home. Instead, he escaped to a treehouse hidden deep in the forest near their house. That treehouse was his private world. No one knew about it. No one visited. It was the only place where he felt safe. He spent hours there writing in his diary. He wrote about his thoughts, his anger, his loneliness, and everything that hurt him. Sometimes he would go to the nearby lake, the same lake where he and his mother once laughed together. Sitting by the water brought back memories of happier days, but it also made his heart ache. One afternoon, while sitting in his treehouse, Helen noticed a young couple near the lake. They were laughing and sharing an intimate moment. Feeling irritated and disturbed, he interrupted them. The boy got angry and stormed away. That same evening, Helen's family gathered for a special dinner. It was to celebrate his younger sister, Lucy, who was leaving for university. Lucy was the only person Helen truly felt close to after their mother's death. The thought of her leaving made him feel like he was losing the last piece of happiness in his life. During dinner, Helen barely spoke. He forced himself to sit there only for Lucy's sake. Later that night, when he returned home, he accidentally saw Julius and Verity sharing a loving moment. The sight disturbed him deeply. He quietly went to his room and wrote everything in his diary. The next morning, Lucy prepared to leave. She called Helen to say goodbye, but he stayed in his room, unable to face her departure. By the time he finally ran downstairs, her car was already driving away. Standing there alone, watching the car disappear, Helen felt emptier than ever. After Lucy left, Julius tried to talk to Helen about his future. He encouraged him to focus on studies and move forward in life. But Helen refused to listen. In his mind, Verity was the reason for everything. He believed she wanted him out of the house so she could live peacefully without him. Deep inside, Helen also believed something darker. He suspected Verity was somehow responsible for his mother's death. Determined to prove this, he started observing her closely. One day, when he returned to his treehouse, he saw the same couple again. This time, they were inside the treehouse. He waited for them to leave. When they finally did, Helen climbed up and froze in shock. His sanctuary was destroyed. His private space was trashed. Panicking, he gathered his belongings and brought everything home, including the locked box that contained his diary. He hid the box in his closet and always kept the key with him. But one day, while talking to Lucy on the phone, Helen accidentally left the key in his room. Verity noticed it and quietly took it. Later, when Helen was away, Verity unlocked the diary box and began reading his private thoughts. She discovered emotional confessions, painful memories, and even secret lines where Helen had unconsciously admired her beauty. That evening, Verity went to the treehouse to confront him. She called him down, but he refused, so she climbed up herself. Helen was shocked to see her there. His anger exploded when she pulled out his diary and began reading it aloud. Hearing his most private thoughts spoken out loud felt like a betrayal. Verity tried to comfort him in a strange and inappropriate way. She told him to let go of the past and start fresh, but Helen accused her directly of killing his mother. Verity laughed and denied everything. In a moment of emotional breakdown, Helen grabbed her shoulders in rage. But suddenly he stopped himself, horrified by his own actions. The situation became confusing and uncomfortable. Feeling trapped and manipulated, Helen decided he could not stay in that house anymore. He packed his things and left for another city. With no money and nowhere to go, he spent his first night sleeping on a rooftop. The next day, while walking through the streets, he noticed a woman who looked similar to his mother. Her name was Kate, and she was the manager of a hotel. Desperate for work, Helen approached her and explained his situation. Kate saw sincerity in his eyes and offered him a job in the hotel kitchen. Helen worked hard and slowly found comfort in the routine. He admired Kate's kindness, but admiration soon turned into obsession. He began following her after work, watching her from a distance. One night he followed her to a bar. Another night he followed her home. One day when Kate didn't show up at work, Helen went to check on her house. He climbed a clock tower nearby to watch her home from above. But Alistair, a senior hotel staff member, caught him and warned him to stay away. The next day, Kate praised Helen's hard work and offered him a better position with improved salary and uniform. Helen happily accepted. Life slowly began to improve. He built good relationships with colleagues and felt positive for the first time in years. On his birthday, the staff planned a surprise celebration. They went out for drinks. One senior staff member got drunk and revealed secrets about Kate and Alistair's complicated relationship. He even confessed his own feelings for Kate before leaving sadly. Later that night, Kate invited Helen to her home. Under the influence of alcohol, she tried to get close to him. Helen gently refused but agreed to sleep beside her. The next morning, he asked her out on a proper date, but Kate dismissed the previous night as just a moment influenced by emotions. Helen felt hurt and rejected. Soon after, Kate called him to the 405th floor of the hotel. There they shared a private and emotional moment, growing closer. But trouble returned when Alistair appeared at Kate's house, trying to control her. Helen stepped in and defended her. During the argument, Alistair accused Helen of spying on Kate from the clock tower. Kate confronted Helen, and he admitted the truth. He explained that she reminded him of his mother, and that loneliness had pushed him to do foolish things. Feeling betrayed, Kate fired him and asked him to leave. Later, understanding his pain, she forgave him and gave him his job back. They had a deep conversation where Helen opened up about his grief and struggles. Just when life seemed stable, Verity contacted him again. She pressured him to sign documents related to his mother's will to clear family debts. Helen refused. During an emotional confrontation near Helen, overwhelmed by anger, pushed Verity into the water. But immediately realizing his mistake, he jumped in and saved her. Later, Julius revealed the painful truth. Helen's mother had taken her own life. She had not been murdered. This revelation shattered Helen, but also freed him from years of suspicion and anger. He finally understood that Verity was not responsible. With closure in his heart, Helen forgave himself and began healing. When he met Kate again, she said she was unsure about starting a relationship because he was still young and emotionally fragile. She suggested waiting 5 years. Helen jokingly asked, "Will you still look this beautiful in 5 years?" Kate smiled. For the first time in a long while, Helen walked away feeling peaceful. Not because everything was perfect, but because he had finally faced the truth. He was no longer running from his past. He was ready to begin again. The story ends there.